In the next few minutes, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 cooking oil products sitting in nearly every American kitchen right now, backed by class action lawsuits, university lab results, and FDA documents that the brands behind these bottles would rather you never see. From multi-million-dollar fraud settlements to a cooking spray that put a man on a lung transplant list, what you're about to hear will change your next grocery trip. And stick around to the end, because we'll reveal the 4 oils that nutrition experts actually keep in their own kitchens. Great Value Vegetable Oil, Walmart. Starting our countdown at number 10, Walmart's Great Value Vegetable Oil is the cheapest bottle on the shelf for a reason, and that reason is not efficiency. It's 100% soybean oil, and roughly 94% of the soybeans grown in the United States are genetically modified. But the real issue isn't the GMOs themselves, it's how this oil gets made. Every bottle of Great Value goes through a brutal industrial process that starts with hexane extraction. Hexane is a petroleum-derived solvent that the EPA classifies as a hazardous air pollutant under the Clean Air Act. The CDC's own 2025 toxicological profile links chronic hexane exposure to nerve damage, numbness in the hands and feet, blurred vision, and muscle weakness. After the hexane bath, the oil gets hit with caustic soda to neutralize it, run through bleaching clay to strip the color, and then deodorized at temperatures between 400 and 500 degrees Fahrenheit. By the time it reaches the bottle, it barely resembles food. And here's the labeling trick that makes it worse. That 0 grams trans fat claim on the nutrition label? Completely legal, even though it's misleading. FDA Regulation 21. CFR 101.9 allows manufacturers to print 0 grams as long as a single serving contains less than 0.5 grams. University of Florida researchers found that the deodorization process alone generates up to 4.6% trans fats in commercial soybean and canola oils. Those trans fats never show up on the label because of serving size manipulation. 1 tablespoon hides the evidence. 3 or 4 tablespoons in a real meal? That's a clinically meaningful dose of something that isn't supposed to be there. The omega-6 to omega-3 ratio sits around 7:1, which overwhelms any nutritional benefit the bottle claims to offer. For context, ancestral human diets ran between 1:1 and 4:1. The modern Western diet, driven largely by soybean oil consumption, now averages between 15:1 and 20:1. Soybean oil alone accounts for roughly 10% of all calories consumed in the United States. Great Value isn't uniquely bad. It's just the cheapest entry point into a category that's rotten from top to bottom. Wesson Vegetable and Canola Oil. At number 9, Wesson carries one of the ugliest legal histories in the cooking oil aisle. In June 2011, a class action lawsuit was filed against ConAgra alleging that Wesson was falsely marketed as 100% natural, despite being made entirely from genetically modified soy, canola, and corn. The case dragged on for over a decade, and in 2019, a settlement was reached. But the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals threw it out in 2021. Judge Kenneth Lee wrote that the deal reeks of collusion because the plaintiff's attorneys received roughly 7 times more money than the consumers they were supposed to be representing. The judge added that ConAgra's promise to stop using the 100% natural label was about as meaningful as a proposal on The Bachelor, because ConAgra had already sold Wesson to Richardson International. The revised settlement closed in 2023 for just $3 million. And here's the part that should concern you. Richardson International is under no legal obligation to keep the 100% natural claim off the label. They can put it right back on tomorrow. The oil itself goes through the same hexane extraction, bleaching, and deodorization pipeline as every other commodity seed oil on this list. What makes Wesson historically significant is that David Wesson, the brand's namesake, was the chemist who pioneered the industrial bleaching of cottonseed oil back in 1899. He and Crisco are literally the founding fathers of the modern refined seed oil industry. The bottle has changed, the process hasn't. Mazola corn oil, number 8, is the bottle that millions of Americans over 40 were told to trust by their doctors. Mazola corn oil carries an FDA-qualified health claim for heart health, and that sounds impressive until you read the fine print. The FDA's own legally required language for that claim reads, and I'm paraphrasing here, "Very limited and preliminary scientific evidence suggests this." FDA concludes that there is little scientific evidence supporting this claim. That's the FDA's lowest tier of health claim. It's barely above saying nothing at all. Mazola's marketing leans heavily on a 2014 study published in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology showing corn oil outperformed olive oil for lowering cholesterol. That study had just 54 participants, ran for only 21 days, and was partially funded by ACH Food Companies, Mazola's parent corporation. Meanwhile, corn oil has an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio between 46:1 and 52:1, the worst of any commonly used cooking oil. Research published in the Journal of Functional Foods found that corn oil caused 30% lipid accumulation in human monocytes and triggered spikes in inflammatory markers IL-1 beta, IL-6, and TNF. The oil is extracted using hexane, confirmed directly by the manufacturer when pressed on the issue. And unless the label says organic, the corn is genetically modified. Every tablespoon of Mazola delivers a concentrated dose of omega-6 fatty acids wrapped in a heart-healthy marketing campaign that the FDA itself barely endorses. Smart Balance Cooking Oil and Spreads. At number 7, Smart Balance built its entire brand identity around a single promise, that plant sterols in their products would lower your cholesterol. In July 2012, a class action lawsuit exposed just how empty that promise was. The suit revealed that Smart Balance spreadable butter contained only about 100 milligrams of plant sterols per tablespoon. The clinical research on cholesterol reduction requires between 800 and 2,000 milligrams per day. That means you would need to eat nearly an entire 7.5-ounce tub every single day to get the benefit they were advertising. The company declined to comment publicly. The oil blend itself is a mix of canola, soybean, and a small amount of olive oil, processed through the same industrial pipeline as every other seed oil. But nutritional biochemist Dr. Mary Enig raised an even more concerning issue with the spreads. Smart Balance uses a process called interest-esterification to restructure the fat molecules. And Dr. Enig argued this process may be worse for cardiovascular health than the trans fats it replaced. The Weston A. Price Foundation went so far as to nickname the product Stupid Balance. You're paying a premium for a product that can't deliver its core promise at any realistic serving size, made from the same cheap oils you'd find in a generic bottle for a third of the price. Country Crock Plant Butter, number 6, is one of the most aggressively marketed products in the dairy alternative aisle, and it's currently facing not 1, not 2, but 4 separate class action lawsuits. Country Crock Plant Butter comes in varieties labeled made with olive oil, made with avocado oil, and made with almond oil. The lawsuits allege that in every case, the premium oil named on the front of the package is actually one of the very last ingredients. The real fat base, palm fruit oil, palm kernel oil, and canola oil. The olive oil version of Country Crock reportedly contains less olive oil by weight than salt does in many margarines. The nutritional profile tells the rest of the story. Each tablespoon delivers 100 calories, 11 grams of fat, including 4 to 5 grams of saturated fat, and 105 milligrams of sodium. That's roughly twice as calorie-dense as standard margarine. Manufacturer Upfield holds RSPO palm oil certification. But the broader palm industry remains linked to rainforest destruction and orangutan habitat loss across Southeast Asia. The 4 pending suits, filed in New York, California, and Illinois between January 2022 and November 2022 all make essentially the same claim. Consumers are paying a premium because they see olive oil or avocado oil on the front label, when the actual product is built on cheap commodity oils that cost a fraction of what those premium ingredients would. But we're only halfway through this list. The products coming up next aren't just misleading. They have court verdicts, lab failures, and injury reports attached to them. And number one is the bottle that nearly every health-conscious person over 40 has been told to trust. PAM Cooking Spray. At number 5, PAM isn't just a bad oil product. It's a product with two completely separate legal disasters attached to it. The first is the exploding can problem. Starting around 2011, Conagra used a 4-vented aerosol can design on their 10-ounce and larger commercial sizes, sold under PAM, Members Mark, Wellesley Farms, and several other store brand labels. The cans allegedly vented flammable propane, butane, and isobutane propellant during normal use near a hot stove. More than 56 lawsuits representing 61 injured people were filed in Cook County, Illinois. Victims suffered catastrophic burns. One woman lost vision in one eye. Another had her hair completely burned off. One victim spent 20 days in a medically induced coma. In November 2023, a jury awarded $7.1 million to Tammy Reese in the first trial, including $4 million in punitive damages. Conagra quietly discontinued the vented design in 2019, but never issued a recall. The second disaster came in 2024, when an LA Superior Court jury hit Conagra with a $25 million verdict, the largest consumer diacetyl case in history, for Roland Esparza. Esparza, 58 years old, developed irreversible bronchiolitis obliterans, commonly known as popcorn lung, after using butter-flavored PAM 2 to 3 times daily since the 1990s. He now lives on 24-hour oxygen and is awaiting a double lung transplant. And then there's the labeling. PAM claims 0 calories per serving, but that serving size is a 1/3 second spray. 1 actual second of spray, which barely covers a skillet, is about 7 calories and nearly a gram of fat. The entire 5-ounce can contains roughly 1,190 calories. The ingredients include dimethylsilicone, the same anti-foaming agent found in silly putty, plus propane and butane propellants. Crisco all-vegetable shortening. Number 4 is where the entire story of industrial cooking oil begins. Crisco launched in June 1911 from Procter & Gamble. The name is short for crystallized cottonseed oil, and cottonseed itself was considered industrial waste for most of the 19th century. Popular Science once described its journey from garbage in 1860 to fertilizer in 1870, cattle feed in 1880, and table food in 1890. Princeton historian Helen Veit documented how P&G's marketing deliberately encouraged consumers to stop worrying about ingredients and instead put their trust in reliable brand names. That playbook became the template for every product on this list. The original Crisco formula contained up to 50% trans fat. For decades, this was considered perfectly safe. It took until 2015 for the FDA to finally determine that partially hydrogenated oils were no longer generally recognized as safe, and the full ban didn't take effect until 2018. By that point, Crisco had been in American kitchens for over a century. After reformulation in 2007, the modern recipe is soybean oil, fully hydrogenated palm oil, mono and diglycerides, TBHQ, and citric acid. TBHQ is a petroleum-derived preservative that the FDA caps at 200 parts per million. The Center for Science in the Public Interest rates it a void. A 2022 review published in Food and Chemical Toxicology concluded that chronic exposure above 0.7 milligrams per kilogram of body weight produces cytotoxic, genotoxic, carcinogenic, and mutagenic effects in animal studies. Japan has effectively restricted it from food imports since 2007. The professional fry version of Crisco also contains dimethylpolisiloxane, a silicone-based anti-foaming compound. And despite the reformulation, Crisco still slides under the 0 grams trans fat loophole, meaning each tablespoon can contain up to 0.49 grams of trans fat, while the label legally says 0. Filippo Berio Extra Virgin Olive Oil. At number 3, we enter the world of olive oil fraud, and Filippo Berio has one of the most documented cases in the industry. In May 2014, a class action lawsuit was filed alleging that bottles labeled imported from Italy actually contained olives sourced from Spain, Greece, Tunisia, and elsewhere, merely shipped through Italy for blending and bottling. The case settled for $5 million in July 2017, and the company agreed to stop using imported from Italy unless the olives were 100% Italian-sourced. But the quality issues go deeper than the label. When UC Davis tested Filippo Berio as part of their landmark olive oil study, 2 out of 3 regional samples failed to meet extra virgin grade standards. They were merely virgin, quality at best. Consumer Reports retested the brand in January 2024 and rated it only fair, noting that quality varied significantly, with some bottles tasting decent and others that simply didn't impress. The Ninth Circuit settlement itself became controversial when the Center for Class Action Fairness appealed, pointing out that the lawyers walked away with roughly $1 million more than the entire class of affected consumers. You trusted the Italian flag on the bottle. The court record says that trust was misplaced. Bertolli Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Coming in at number 2, Bertolli carries the single largest olive oil fraud settlement in American history. Filed in May 2014, the lawsuit alleged 3 separate deceptions at once. First, imported from Italy when the olives came from Spain, Greece, Tunisia, Morocco, Turkey, and Argentina. Second, extra virgin, when the bottle allegedly contained a blend of refined olive oil mixed with actual extra virgin. And third, clear glass packaging that essentially guaranteed oxidation and quality degradation on the shelf. The case settled in August 2018 for $7 million, with consumers receiving 75 cents per bottle of extra virgin and $1.50 per bottle of Classico. Bertolli's parent company Deoleo was forced to switch to dark green bottles, abandon the imported from Italy claim unless truly sourced from Italian olives, and implement stronger quality testing. Italian antitrust authorities also fined Deoleo for mislabeling, and Bertolli, along with sister brand Carapelli, were recalled across 20 U.S. states. In their 2024 annual report, Deoleo disclosed a staggering €54.5 million loss, including a €64.7 million provision for back taxes and penalties tied to an ongoing Italian customs case that's now before Italy's Supreme Court. And when UC Davis tested Bertolli in their 2010 study, 0 out of 3 samples passed the extra virgin standard. Not a single one. The brand that millions of families kept on their counter for years, believing it was premium Italian olive oil, couldn't pass the most basic quality test at a California university. Pompeian olive oil. Taking the #1 spot as the worst cooking oil product you can buy, Pompeian earned this position through the worst lab performance of any major brand ever tested by an American university. In UC Davis's 2011 follow-up testing of the 5 top-selling imported olive oil brands, Pompeian had a sensory failure rate of 94%. It was also the only brand among the top imports to fail chemical purity tests, in addition to the taste panel. But the story gets worse. In 2018, Spanish outlet El Español exposed that Pompeian's parent company Decoop was selling a product called Olive Extra Original in U.S. stores with prominent first cold press extra virgin oil labeling on the front. According to the nutritional panel itself, the product was actually 85% rapeseed oil, which is canola. Industry sources claimed the actual extra virgin olive oil content was less than 1%, with the remainder being Canadian rapeseed. Pompeian consistently sold at prices 40% below competing Spanish and Italian brands, which should have been a red flag from the start. The bottles use abbreviated country codes printed in small text on the back label, sometimes drawing from 7 or more countries per bottle. And if you think outright fraud is a thing of the past, consider this. In a February 2014 sworn affidavit, the president of Capitriti, a competing brand that controlled 15% of the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut market, admitted under oath that his company's 100% pure olive oil contained no olive oil whatsoever. It was entirely pomace oil, the chemically extracted byproduct of olive pits and skins. The company filed for bankruptcy that year, and as recently as March 2026, a new class action alleges Capitriti is still shipping adulterated product. When the people selling you olive oil are willing to put 0 olive oil in the bottle and swear it's pure, you need to rethink every label in your pantry. After all of that, you deserve some good news. These 4 brands passed independent university testing, carry verified certifications, and are the oils that nutritionists and food scientists actually use in their own homes. Nutiva Organic Virgin Coconut Oil. Starting our clean list at number 4, Nutiva checks every box that matters. USDA Organic, Non-GMO Project Verified, Fair Trade Certified, and a Certified B Corporation. Their coconut oil is cold-pressed within 2 hours of chopping, unrefined, unbleached, and never touched by hexane or chemical solvents. The composition is roughly 63% medium-chain triglycerides and 50% lauric acid, which your body metabolizes differently than long-chain fats. One honest caveat for this audience: a single tablespoon delivers about 12 grams of saturated fat, which is close to the American Heart Association's full daily recommended limit. Cleveland Clinic dietitian Kristen Kirkpatrick frames coconut oil as a sometimes oil, best used occasionally for specific cooking rather than as your daily go-to. Use it wisely, and it's a legitimate, clean option. Use it on everything, and you're creating a different problem. Chosen Foods Avocado Oil. At number 3, Chosen Foods holds a distinction that no other widely available avocado oil brand can claim. It was independently confirmed pure and non-oxidized by UC Davis food scientist Dr. Selena Wong in her landmark 2020 study. That study tested 22 commercial avocado oils and found that 82% were either rancid before their expiration date or adulterated with cheaper oils. 3 bottles labeled pure or extra virgin contain nearly 100% soybean oil. Dr. Wang's reaction says it all. She was surprised that some of the samples didn't contain any avocado oil whatsoever. A 2023 follow-up study of 36 private label avocado oils found only 31% were actually pure, meaning the store brand avocado oil at your local grocery store is more likely fake than real. Chosen Foods passed both studies cleanly. It carries a 500-degree smoke point, making it your one legitimate option for high heat cooking. It's non-GMO, project verified, kosher, glyphosate, residue-free, and soy-free. Kirkland Signature Organic Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Coming in at number 2, this is the recommendation that surprises people because it comes from Costco. In UC Davis's landmark 2010 study, Kirkland's Signature Organic was the only imported olive oil brand where all 3 regional samples passed both the IOC and USDA extra virgin standards, 3 for 3. The researchers described it as the least expensive olive oil to pass the purity standards. In Consumer Labs 2023 independent testing measured 369 milligrams per kilogram of polyphenols, well above the 250 threshold considered high polyphenol, and ranked it a top pick. Samin Nosrat, the author of Salt Fat Acid Heat, has called it one of the best tasting olive oils for your money. Consumer Reports' January 2024 panel described it as having grassy and herbal flavors with a touch of fruitiness. It's USDA, organic, non-GMO, sold in a dark green glass bottle to prevent oxidation, and cold-pressed without chemical processing. At roughly $15 for 2 liters, it delivers lab-verified quality at a fraction of what Bertolli or Filippo Berio charge for oil that has failed the same tests. California, Olive Ranch Extra Virgin olive oil. Taking the top spot as the cleanest cooking oil you can buy, California Olive Ranch represents what the entire industry should look like, but doesn't. Every bottle is certified by the California Olive Oil Council, non-GMO verified, Whole30 approved, and backed by the first North American olive oil company to earn certified regenerative recognition from A Greener World. Every single bottle carries a smart label QR code that discloses the harvest season, bottling date, country of origin, and lot-specific phenol testing results. That level of transparency simply doesn't exist anywhere else in the mass-market olive oil space. UC Davis panel testing verified the oil in both their 2010 and 2011 studies, and polyphenol levels range from 200 to over 500 milligrams per kilogram, depending on harvest. Consumer Reports. January 2024 panel described it as both fruity and grassy, with nutty, herbal, and minty flavors. And the science backs the health claims. Harvard published a study in JAMA Network Open analyzing over 90,000 people across 28 years and found that consuming more than half a tablespoon of olive oil daily was associated with a 28 to 29% lower risk of dementia-related death. A separate Harvard Health study of over 7,100 participants found that high extra virgin olive oil intake was linked to significantly fewer cardiovascular events, while standard refined olive oil showed no such benefit. The polyphenols are the difference. This is what olive oil is supposed to be. Single origin, harvest dated, third-party verified, and transparent enough that you can trace every bottle back to the grove it came from. There you have it. 10 cooking oil products to get out of your kitchen tonight, and 4 that actually earn the right to stay. Before your next grocery run, remember this. Check whether the oil is cold-pressed or expeller-pressed, because if it doesn't say, it's hexane extracted. Look for a harvest date, not just an expiration date, and never trust imported from Italy unless there's a certification seal to back it up. If this changed the way you look at your pantry, hit that like button, drop a comment telling me which oil surprised you the most, and share this with the people in your life who are still cooking with the same bottle their doctor recommended in 1995. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video exposing the truth behind everyday products. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.